Hi, it's Mr. Baker here with another physics lesson. So I want you to, first of all, think about what do these two animals have in common. I'll give you a couple of seconds to think. Any ideas? Okay, well, a bat and a dolphin both locate things in a similar way. They both use sonar, they both use sound waves in order to locate where things are. They emit a sound that comes from them, reflects, echoes off the things that they've bounced off, and then goes back to them. And so using that, they can find out what's around them, as well as using their eyes, although bats' eyes aren't particularly good. And so they can use that the sounds to actually locate where things are and to navigate around where they are. But what do we call these high-pitched sounds? Some of you will probably know. So yeah, that's right, we call them ultrasound, and that's what this lesson is about. So today our lesson is on ultrasound, and we are going to look at what ultrasound is, and we're going to look at some of the uses of ultrasound. So ultrasound is this sound which has a frequency above 20,000 hertz and that cannot be heard by humans is called ultrasound. So we have a range of hearing, and a healthy person could hear up to about 20,000 hertz, but this changes over time. So you, most of you who are younger than me, you will have a range that gets close to 20,000 hertz. My range may go up to about 12,000, 13,000 hertz perhaps, and that will be dependent on age, but it'll also be dependent on the kinds of sounds that you've heard. If you've heard lots of loud sounds and things like that, or if you work with loud sounds or something, anything like that, then that might have damaged your ears, and so you might not be able to hear the full range all the way up to 20,000 hertz. But this is what we define ultrasound as. Frequencies up to 20,000 hertz are normal, and then above 20,000 hertz are called ultrasound. And different animals can hear different ranges. So dolphins and bats can hear much higher than 20,000 hertz, and so they can emit these sounds and then use these sounds to help them to locate things and navigate. Okay, so let's look at some uses of ultrasound. So one of the first ones that you'll probably all be aware of is ultrasound scans. So in order to see unborn babies, an ultrasound wave with a frequency of between 2 and 10 million hertz, so megahertz means a million hertz, so between 2 and 10 million hertz is produced and transmitted into the mother. The wave is partially reflected when it meets different boundaries between different media, so between different, say, bones or fat or skin. It will partially reflect off all of these different things. And then these reflections are collected and interpreted as a picture by a computer, which is then shown on a screen. So another use of ultrasound is for ultrasound cleaning. So ultrasound cleaners use frequency in the range of 20 to 40,000 hertz. So remember, 20,000 hertz is the lower end of ultrasound. So anything above 20,000 hertz is considered to be ultrasound. So 20 to 40,000 hertz to clean delicate equipment or jewellery. So things that are really delicate that you wouldn't want to clean normally, you might use one of these things, put them into a liquid, and then the ultrasound is fired through the liquid onto the equipment. And the technique relies on microscopic cavitation events which shake the dirt off. Now, cavitation is really just a fancy word for making lots of tiny little bubbles. So these little bubbles form, and it's the bubbles, these vibrating bubbles, which help to clean these things really delicately. Okay, so a third use for ultrasound might be in industry, industrial ultrasound, again using a frequency of between 2 and 10 million hertz. performing non-destructive tests on metal casings and pipes. So if you've made a pipe or a case or something like that, and you don't want to take it apart to see if it is of good quality or not, then you can use ultrasound. You can send ultrasound through it, and then you can scan sort of the inside of these pipes, and in a similar way to making pictures of babies in their mothers. And so it would reflect back any of these little holes or cracks or anything like that that might show up, which you wouldn't be able to tell normally unless you were to destroy it and take it apart to see it. So that's really important use of ultrasound. Okay, so that's our quick little clip on what ultrasound is and what are some of the uses of ultrasound. Hope that's been useful. I've been Mr. Baker. Thank you very much.